listened. I mean, that is the strategy.
Is going to be Sejuani coming through. Worth noting that actually EG banned a lot of champions that they had played. Their winning comp against Cloud was actually Aatrox and Maokai, and this banned Kalista here as well, so not allowed any of those picks here. Sejuani, an early flex, a solid tank jungle, or actually a really good laning top laner. Obviously, you can frontline afterwards as well. They say, you know, if we're not playing Assassins, then we can just go Azir meta and try to win team fights.
Very true. Jojo is a very good Azir player, a fairly generically safe mid laner now that the other three of that power mid laners are down with Silas Kali bans. It does leave like a LeBlanc pick open if they wanted to go for that, but I think right now EG is thinking team fight. It changes a little bit if they lock in Belvath.
Yeah, you look at tinowns' sort of champion pool since MSI, it's a bunch of Ahri, okay, sure, Taliyah, and then it's down to like Lysandra 3 games, Zoe 2 games, the Silas that he had played a bunch of has been banned out. We are back on Trundle here for Inspired, generally considered very good into Sejuani. Yep. Thanks for walking in the melee range, I'll hold you, thanks for the stats, now I'm the front line. Obviously his early jungle pressure was outstanding in the early game against DFM.
Yeah, and part of why EG won that first game they had against Loud is they had really strong scaling in their team composition. That's something that Inspired mentioned in his post-game interview when he had the Maokai is, yeah, you know, I don't know if playing against RNG-type teams if we'll be able to get away with scaling, but for these type of games, it's worth it. And their early draft very much says they're not going to be super aggressive early, and they're picking for team fighting.
Alrighty, we'll see what they can track then as far as jungle moves are concerned, because Sejuani can certainly do a lot with her lanes. Now doesn't have a melee mid laner, no Silas there, so that is one possible synergy gone. Top lane usually almost exclusively melee, and with Misfortune locked in, you can always grab Gnar here and cover it. Or we'll see something else going through. Misfortune, of course, is very, very strong. Mumu is left up for now. The Singed mid not going to come through unless you're going to shove Azir to the top lane. But I think eyes are on the chance at a Mumu Misfortune. This is the comp that beat Fnatic. It's actually the comp they had played against EG and nearly won with. So I would expect an Mumu ban or a support takeaway on 4 here.
Yeah, 100%. I think Amumu will be banned in the next 2 bans by EG. Interesting how they're early picking support to ban them out. So they're basically saying, okay, our AD carry pool is deeper than what we think our support pool into MF is.
Sure. Which I actually buy, honestly. I mean, we have basically no AD carry bans. There's the Mumu instantly banned away. Yeah, wise choice there. But yeah, if you're looking at good engaged tanks, I think Leona is, to me, the cream of the crop. I put her as my highest death champion, by the way, because I thought she'd be in almost every game. And supports tend to die, unfortunately. They don't get very much gold. So, you know, I know there's a bunch of like Nautilus chatters in Reddit every time, but I'm like, no, it needs to be Leona. Come on, be on it. Or gonna be dropped away though as team fight ults. You talk about the scaling differences. Trundle can frontline, Azir can backline, or make sure those fights happen. But yeah, Leona is there to guarantee interrupt MF ults. Of course, Trundle Pillar can do the same thing. I think it's probably the single best skill for that, but in case it's not up, Vulcan can play that job. And we're not even seeing any AD carry bans, so if he wants the Aphelios, he's played some Ezreal as well recently. It's still up for him.
This Jax ban is actually rather interesting. I think that signals that Impact, well, 1, Robo is good Jax, but 2, that Impact might actually want to pick his top laner blind rather than trying to get the counter pick. It's something he's done for most of his career. He's just been so good at blind picking top laners. It'll also allow Kaori to have a longer look at AD carry if they choose that. Or, you know, they can just throw down and pick Draven, but we'll see.
If you want to play through exactly one lane, if you're like, we're going to have jungle prio, this is us, and it's like, well, Draven Leona has you under your tower, and we think we can trap Croc, then like, I can see it, but this is the, we definitely win the 35-minute team fights, deal with it. Goes a little bit somewhere else. Okay, Kaisa, I would argue is actually slightly less of a strong laner than the Aphelios. I actually think Aphelios should be prioritized over Kaisa from what I've seen from these players. Certainly she's very dynamic, right? If you get a good pick, Pillar will add a platform attack, you can ult on, you can follow through, you assassinate someone. If you're trying to be a little more aggressive, a little more hyperactive, like that'll land. But much less safety for the backline.
Yeah, I do think that Aphelios there is also very killable. Sejuani, Taliyah, Misfortune can get on him. Whereas the last angle they picked Aphelios in, they had a Thresh to peel. So understandable, but they don't have that many synergies throughout the rest of the team composition for Kaisa yet. And they did actually choose to counterpick Impact's top laner instead of counterpicking AD as 5th.
Technically, Taliyah's flexible. Taliyah could jungle. Zach could go mid. I don't know if it's exactly an Azir counter. Taliyah mid, of course, far more likely. It's in the pool. And we get Viego out of the jungle. So it is Sedge top after all. Decides that this is what I want. I want to play it out this way. Fair enough here.
This wouldn't be the worst MOrdekaiser. actually, for Impact.
Speaking my language.
But he's got some options here. Nara's still available if they want to be generic.
Yep.
Oh, I like this more.
I actually like this spread a
like
lot. More damage scaling from the 3 carry lanes, by the way. We've got front line, we've got team fight engaged. Not a lot of disengage, to be fair.
Oh.
It's the MOrdekaiser angle. Yes,
Okay.
we are there again.
Trust your instincts, freak.
Woo!
I saw the angle.
You were right, got the angle.
GP would have been really good too against Misfortune in team fights, just being able to drop the ult on her head. But there's a lot of good targets for the MOrdekaiser, and this is what we talked about as well. When you're up against Nautilus, he can just take the Nautilus out at the start of any fight, blow through that guy, and then basically the MOrdekaiser can take out one front line, the Trundle can take out the other front line, and it can let them mow through the fights with the Azir damage. So this is a champion Impact is very practiced with. In my opinion, it's just this weird feeling. Impact just does more damage on MOrdekaiser than other players. But we'll have to see, because the last time they played Loud, they were down 3,500 gold to 20 minutes. Loud beat Fnatic earlier. They pushed EG to the limit, and this game is super important.
It is super important. This is the battle for the 2nd seed in the group, with the honor of fighting the winner of Saigon Buffalo Mad Lions in 2 days for a spot in the group stage. That is the easier road than the one that goes through Royal Never Give Up. Solo queue data and my intuition both put MOrdekaiser as disgustingly favored against Sejuani in the top lane. It's absurdly broken in your favor. He loves just siphoning a tank away because he's got a bunch of health damage.
Yeah.
He don't have escape tools against it. He wants Demonic Embrace. It's gonna feel great. And even stealing away Viego prevents the resets. Viego's natural escape's pretty bad there as well. A wealth of good targets, honestly. Yeah, I think it's a great angle. I think it's a really, really good pick here. I think it is a very intelligent time. And that is part of it, Chad, I think, is he picks it so rarely into the consort's really, really good. And I think it's a really, really good angle.
We'll have to see how that turns out. The early game going to be very important as well. I mean, we have a Nautilus, Leona on both teams. The potential for level 1 is quite high.
Yep. Here we go. You can see the 5-stack here for EG. Is there an aggressive ward play? The answer is no. Seo's just gonna chill out. Easy ward play when he wants. Even under like the 55-second ward plus recall. Certainly an option. You don't see anything spicy. They also don't know if there was an aggressive ward put on their tops. I don't believe anyone was remotely able to track if Sejuani or Viego did anything like that.
Yeah, they placed one early ward in
their side
top side bush.
Right, yeah.
Which actually spots the Viego currently, so now they know that nobody is invaded, which will give Inspired a kind of a sense of relief, since that was a real possibility. And they're still going for a late invade, since they saw the Viego.
Similar path to the previous game, actually, but I think Vision was just spotted. I think either maybe they knew there's no ward, or they didn't have enough vision to be like, well, okay, whatever. Another defensive ward comes down from Jojopyun as well. That'll track primarily any of Viego's pathing. If he wants to do like red into invade, it'll see it. If he wants to red into early gank, it'll see it. So early vision is there for about a minute and a half as everyone walks back to the lane, and it's a nearly leashless jungle start. It is for Viego, but MOrdekaiser does help Trundle as Inspired wants to path toward the bottom lane. It is double engage support. That makes sense. They're both running Ignite. Both AD carries are running Cleanse. Both AD carries also running lethal tempo for as much pressure as possible. DPS going to be pretty high. Lethal, a little bit unorthodox on Misfortune. Press the attack is much more common, to my understanding, at least from solo queue data.
Look at Inspired. So he actually he swept the ward on the way through here. So they technically know he could be doing this, but obviously don't know for sure. And yeah, he's just going to double buff super early.
Viego's path is interesting though, because Viego's doing red Raptors down to Croc. Maybe it's a read off of the fact that, oh yeah, my camps are getting taken, but he's actually ending up level 3 on bottom side.
Yeah.
In case there is a big play.
Yeah, so it's possible that Croc could now invade the blue buff of EG, since he saw Inspired cross through that ward that Robo placed that we're looking at right now, since they also have bot prio. So it's likely going to be fairly inconsequential unless they decide to go for a dive bottom lane as well.
Yeah, that's just so interesting, because yeah, the mid ward's a really big deal that Loud put down, as Croc is indeed going to go ahead and say, all right, yep, I'm on bottom side. This guy's never been here. We again know about the blue steal. It means that you've got permanent coverage for your Rumble, or sorry, you're pushing MOrdekaiser up against Sejuani. In fact, he's still around to get the wave in, but yeah, bottom jungle, Viego's, I think, double camping. He feels so safe, he's double camping blue Gromp and is like, you're not gonna touch me.
Yeah, I mean, the ward from Robo just did so much work. It spotted Inspired twice. And Inspired wouldn't actually think the Croc is this greedy. I just imagine either Impact didn't call the ward or didn't see it, because otherwise I don't think Inspired would be doing this. If he knew he was spotted on the ward, he'd actually do a mind game and just go for Krugs.
Sure.
Or sorry, Gromp himself. But now he's doing...
Yeah.
He's thinking about it, but like
now, but he feels so unsafe.
Technically, Viego should have recalled and should be back here by now.
Could easily be, but...
And he's just flipping it.
With a bunch of camps. Okay, we'll go for Wolves after all. That's going to be a pretty safe camp. Ironically, Gromp is arguably safer because you're not quite as far into enemy territory, but Mage get both camps no problem. Viego is indeed on his recall. Of course, Wolves are the lower value camp. And I think the way he's playing it, he's like, I'm just going to Q and smite this and get away.
Yeah. Smite until
okay, yeah, he'll finish it. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, now this does get awkward because it is...
Smote early.
Oh, he early smites. There's actually... Well, second charge should be relatively soon, actually. This is about the timer for your second smite to come up anyway, or your third smite, so...
This is a wild opener.
This is very strange. So much in the fog of war. Croc just going to bypass all the vision, and here we go. He can start the play right now. There's going to be a bunch of stuns, and they don't have him around, so Impact with a backwards E and a flash. W flash with... Oh, a sidestep! And that's going to make him live. If he doesn't sidestep that, that might have been the kill for Croc.
I think high chance, because Robo might have been able to get in range for the stun that was fully stacked up on him as well.
I don't know if Impact can do much about this one, though. Keep in mind, there's an Ignite for the Sejuani. The Pillar buys a lot of time. If they turn around, though, it could look very good. Keep in mind,
Vulcan's
double autos,
in range,
but
too.
Try. Robo doesn't have
flash.
Robo doesn't have mana, and he goes down. First blood, EG get it through top jungle.
And the counter-picked MOrdekaiser against the Ignite Sejuani ends up picking that up. That lane is going to go from rough to really rough for Robo, especially when Impact hits 6.
It's the wave gets pushed in. Vulcan's here to be like, Jojo, you're out of mana. I got you, buddy. We'll burn stacks in the melees. We'll put sunlight down for the soldiers. Get that wave down. Get your recall off. Of course, TP is already down, but needs a mana pool. Once again, though, you got some around top side. Now, Croc is low.
He's just helping Robo get this wave in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it gets really hard frozen on him. Just there for safety, but Impact is just so strong.
Yeah, and with your W, you can kind of tank this wave, no problem. Go ahead.
And the build.
Yep.
We did all this MOrdekaiser talk. In the last game, we had MOrdekaiser.
Yep, he's like, okay, I'm a bigger carry. I'm against a tank personally. I'm going to build such that I can kill this tank. I'm ahead. I'm a damage threat.
It could be a bait. Impact could die here.
He's got the shield, though. He needs to get unstunned in time. Pops it, and he's going to be tanky enough to Q slam. Oh! Double kill! Yes, indeed! I was going to talk about a MOrdekaiser mechanic. You pretty much always run Last Stand and Revitalize. So he has 15% heal and shield power and 12% bonus damage when below 30% health. Saves the W at 20% and goes, I got a 500-point shield, buddy. You're dying, and takes them both down.
Well, that lane's gone pretty well for Impact. 18 CS advantage, 3-0. 1,400 gold lead. Croc still level 4. Jojo sends tinowns back, gets the ghost.
Not quite pillarable.
But everything that needed to go right for EG in this early game so far has. The questionable move would have been how they're not playing around bot lane at all, despite that working so well for them in the last game with the Aphelios. Inspired's path top the whole time. He got Impact the first kill. And here, Impact is just playing with so much confidence. Robo really wants to get the wave in, but he just gets hit by everything.
Yep.
Right?
And
he gets so low.
Here. You W below a third. So, okay, he's done Ignite. Okay, that means I'm always Wing. I'm mashing the button.
Yeah.
And they can't burst 500 health, so he gets 1,000. And it's like, oh, I just win now. Like, he just knows I just win now. Sejuani's burst is gone. Her E pass is on cooldown. There's no damage left. Okay, I win.
What an uncomfortable situation for Robo and Croc to play in when they're up against Impact's MOrdekaiser, saved for counterpick in the final tiebreaker game of the play-in group stage. The whole game has been about Impact so far.
Yeah, really nice. What a huge counter. It's looking pretty beautiful. Yoink, nope. He's gonna burn mana. And sure, the E cooldown's like 15, 12 seconds, something like that, but like, well, if I'm forcing the 20 away every time, see ya, bud. 3 kills, Merc treads are on, love it. The only way you're really gonna lose any of these fights is getting stun locked, so doesn't really need to greed more damage. Gonna look solid there. Even though Sejuani is not that heavily magic damage, actually has a decent physical profile, just the tenacity itself valuable against, I mean, everyone but Misfortune, tenacity has direct value against, so I think just a great boot buy for him. Move speed delta is a very big deal for MOrdekaiser as well. You just want to be in range at all, and looking pretty good there. The wave can be pushed in level 8 to 6 for now, but this wave will get Robo level 7.
Yeah, and now it's about how does Loud think about a comeback here? Because when Impact has ultimate, you can't necessarily go near this MOrdekaiser. Look at that ridiculous total gold. Yeah, he's just going to start up Rift Herald. But if Brance can get Kaori, he is 6. You can't stop the Rift Herald with MOrdekaiser's current power level.
No, it's actually impossible.
You can try.
Vulcan's already here. Sweeper spots him. Vulcan doesn't... actually, might have seen him pop Sweeper. So, yep, there's a smite. Inspired gets it. Wants to go for the invade here on a Croc. Has an ulti, has a flash. It doesn't matter. That is a delivery. Well done, Jojopyun. Following up the Canadians. Come in, get the ult combo in, and that is another dead jungler.
Yeah, I mean, they have ult from Trundle, so Nautilus is dead.
Sejuani quite low, burning, not quite dead. The Trundle's gonna be pretty close. Kaori gets his kill on the bottom side, a solo kill down there. Vulcan flashes still drops. tinowns finally on the board here for Loud.
Well, there we go. The really unfortunate solo kill by Kaori over Brance. I definitely feel like Loud is playing with a little bit of panic here. They've moved Robo down. They contested Rift Herald when they should have been trading for Infernal Drake. They went for an all-in in the bot lane. They're hard forcing on Trundle mid. One of the three works. And now tinowns moves down. He has a decent angle, but
there's a Trundle, buddy.
Trundle comes for the defense.
And he's gonna be fine. Yep, Taliyah ult came over. The first roam of the game from tinowns, and it was a simple walk away. Impact doesn't even take damage here. He's like, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna go for a turret plate. Thank you, 160 gold. That is a wave.
I think the word for this is rude.
Yeah, anytime you can literally just like get auto attack and take a plate, it's like, oh, I'm so behind. You care so little about my damage that you're gonna face tank me on my turret. Yep, okay, it's doomed.
Yeah, watching this 1v1 one more time, basically Kaori thinks Brance is moving up for a possible Rift Herald fight, so he's trying to move in the river, and then it's just about gotta land all his skill shots, ults early, follows flash over the wall, and this has enough.
Yep.
Well played.
Yeah, I understand MF not popping ults anytime early because you ult for ult, you go behind him, and it's like, oh, I did nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, decides, okay, I'm just gonna ult for the shield. Let's just be in melee range. Gets it, flash for flash, and a solo kill, so well done, Kaori. Serrated Dark Power Spike, very good, as it turns out, and gets the edge in a lane he was down CS on. In fact, still is.
Yeah, and I think in general, Kaisa likes lanes where she's isolated 1v1, especially against Misfortune because of that ult interaction. So, like, again, the Kaisa was picked with the Misfortune already shown. They let it go to 4-5, they let bans possibly come through, and they still picked the Kaisa early. So, Kaori showing up so far on that pick as well.
And EG gonna get both objectives here. They have not won a single game on red side, and even when they fought against Loud earlier as blue, they were down 3,000 gold in 10 minutes time from this point on, but they are clearly winning. Kills across the board, farm almost everywhere also. First Herald, now first Drake to add to it. EG have everything they want in this game.
And it's just gonna be so hard for them to deal with Impact because just like think about the way that Loud would like to team fight in an ideal world, right? They have Nautilus and Sejuani in the front line, and that can allow maybe Taliyah comes in from the side. That allows them to set up for a nice Misfortune ultimate. However, both of their frontliners can just get killed by ultimates that EG has. So Impact can ult one of the frontline, kill him because he's so far ahead. It could literally be the Sejuani if he wants to. And then Inspired ults the other one to steal their resistances. And the front to back is just so unbelievably superior for EG. But then you think, okay, if you're not front to back, you need to be able to push a side lane and get a flank. But literally no one can push a side lane against Impact's Mordekaiser.
Yep.
So they kind of need to get lucky or to have EG make a mistake because the position EG is in right now is so strong.
At least they're gonna get top scuttle, all right? A little bit of something going on here. One objective is gonna be dropped. In fact, they're gonna skip it to push for top side. Now, Impact can always guarantee about 7 seconds of 1v1 time. But if the rest come across, it is top jungle versus top, and
I don't know if they win this.
well, they're gonna have to try. They are selling out for it. Taliyah cannot join just yet. I'm just gonna let them walk away. They land the first stun. They don't ulti, they don't go for any more.
Yeah.
Deciding that, nah, if he ultimates, it's too much. And Impact says, yep, I know. So burns W for the self-heal, goes on the moderate cooldown, but gets the heal value in for the shield.
I think a really nice placement of this Rift Herald as well. They know Impact is going to be fine, so let's get gold on others, they say. They can't really kill that turret. It's got massive resistances right now.
Yep. Next Croc will get the eye here, and the wave is nearly gone. It is low, though, and if they can cut this wave, they can just wait 30 seconds, get it next time. Kaori puts in what damage he can. Everyone's actually pretty good here. Stopwatch is forced out of Vulcan. Pretty crucial. Wants to dive in, lands a stun, and here comes the rest, but is it enough? Vulcan drops 1 for 0, and here comes Viego for more. He dives the backline. He traded 1 for 1. Still a fight. Victory for Loud. Without MOrdekaiser, his TP is down. They take a fight, and they go up in it.
Definitely the fight that Loud dreams of. A fight that is 4v4 in between their own turrets and no MOrdekaiser is to be seen. That's the only time they have a chance. EG goes in because Vulcan was caught out with no flash, so he decides to go in. Everyone just decides to follow the call for EG and they lose the fight 2 for 1.
This turret, though, is
a hit.
It's 400 gold that he could deny. Actually,
Yeah, he should have let the cannon hit it.
39, it's pretty close. Oh, he just gets it here. So that move is 400 gold.
Oh.
Because if you deny it...
His auto did 17, so he actually would have died if he round for 3 autos.
2 full more, but the problem is, So the turret's always 250 global no matter what happens. But its first turret, which is only local gold, and every outer turret is 250 local as well. So, like, that getting denied is a individually 400 gold, like, itemized out as local.
Yeah, watching this one more time, just a really good wall by tinowns right here, comboed with the hook. Yes, there's a stopwatch, but Vulcan still does not have flash here, so he's either dead or he looks to turn it, and everyone on EG is feeling confident and they go in, but it's just, look at that stun up top by Jojo, unable to get in to the fight the way he wants to. Otherwise, they might have been able to wombo with the Azir ultimate. Could have been a lot worse, too, if Croc gets that reset. He might have been able to chase more of them down, but it is a 2-for-1 in the favor of Loud.
We sit at a 3,000 gold lead. EG having what Loud had in their most recent matchup.
Yeah.
EG came back through it. See if Loud can do the same. Blue gonna be handed over to tinowns. The MOrdekaiser gap has not grown in farm. He has farmed a couple of plates, right? That top lane turret's about half HP, but has yet to join a team fight. See what those look like as Inspire takes a bit of a chunk. 80 seconds from next Drake spawn. EG have the first, they can grab the second, no problem. You can see they did heavily outfarmed on plate. Now going for second Herald.
Level 11 on MOrdekaiser, so anyone gets in range of this MOrdekaiser, they likely die.
The only ulti rank on Mord is cooldown on it, so it's not a big stat increase, but is there even a play? Does he walk up for Robo? You can see he's kind of frontlining. Pops an early shield, gets smited, and he just grabs Sejuani. That is a guaranteed kill, Nautilus. Not much else you can do.
Well, he's got a good job fighting.
But the rest of the squad can come around, so here comes the play. And there's not much else for him to get out of this one. A scoop comes through for the Azir. tinowns over the wall, flash to safety. There's the kill, as Robo's already gone. Inspired sticking onto him, and the reinforcements just will not arrive. He dances around pillars and hands the kill off. A double through for Kaori.
Here, Kaori, have some gold.
Yes.
That's Inspired in the end of that fight. Very difficult situation for Loud to be in. I think if they were to have that one again, they would opt to trade objectives because it is just so hopeless in those 5v5s against the fed MOrdekaiser and Trundle. So EG get the first turret there, they get the Rift Herald, they still have it. Impact can probably finish off this turret as well to make it 3 turrets to 0, and this game just exploded.
And he's just playing the deny farm at this point, so gets the emote game going on. Says, okay, as long as cannon goes away, that's enough for me. And that's the gold income coming in. Denies a fair bit of gold and XP from a would-be top laner, growing that lead 3-0-3.
I believe that EG is going to be giving up that dragon, so we're going to watch this one more time.
Yeah, that's Impact just doing a defensive ult of like, I'm gonna take too much damage here, W's on cooldown, I'll just ult Nautilus.
Yep.
Can't kill me. 4v4 is still good. Like, this is a 4v4 without Nautilus, but the problem is it's also, like, or without MOrdekaiser, but there's no front line.
Yeah, and Nautilus only gets to live through that MOrdekaiser ult once because he used a stopwatch. He'll never get that again.
Yeah.
It is now broken. So EG follows at the end of the fight, feeding the kill over to tinowns. tinowns hoping to have another legendary Worlds moment for those historians out there, the 2014 This Is For Kaboom moment when they beat Alliance to knock them out of Worlds. tinowns was the mid laner on Kaboom back then. Been training for 8 years trying to get back to that point. Still has an opportunity, win or lose, will not be eliminated from Worlds. Loser of this game plays DFM in a best of 5 tomorrow for the hopes of playing RNG in a best of 5 to qualify for group stage. So definitely an easier path. The winner here will advance to the games 2 days from now, where they will then play the winner of Mad Lions versus Saigon Buffalo. So those are the stakes as EG has this 6,000 gold lead and a very powerful team fight comp.
They really do. We got Anathema's already through for the Trundle to even knock down the Tenacity that much more on a frontline he would like to kill. As the scaling continues on, Luden's in here for Jojo. Steel caps through the EG jungler now as well, as we are on solidly 1 item each AD carry. The farm at least has been decent for Brance, but still a very, very tough push ahead. The stopwatch broken has been sold by Sejuani. Make sure he can get the next item as soon as possible. We'd love to finish his mythic in time for the next big team fight. Drakes were traded, by the way. It is Loud grabbing their own, so delaying any play towards a Dragon Soul, but EG not exactly in danger of getting outscaled, so not pushing too hard for any objectives right now.
Yeah, if I had to guess after they lost the fight at bottom turret when Vulcan dove in, they probably said, guys, just be patient.
Just chill. Yeah.
This is a moment where it is absolutely okay to not constantly accelerate the game, knowing how strong their scaling is. Also, Impact is far away, but does have teleport.
Yep.
So if a fight happens, he'd likely TP in.
He shows damage. Demonic second. Rylai's lets you ping your target better, but Demonic is how you burn them down faster if you know they're stuck anyway. Just gets the charge. Not really any follow-up damage to the turret. The rest of Loud came down in time. Stun gonna be attempted.
Yeah, they know they have a temporary 5v4.
And when will the TV come down? Finally now comes through. A fling back. It's so much damage, and Inspired will drop. But the team fight could be good. He ults Croc, and the killer flies a second, but you're still always killing this man. He ults, he's still stuck. The stopwatch burned. He does have flash, and it means he lives. Health bar low, but there's no fight left, or is there? Impact just up. He needs a shield, doesn't have it, but the dive in is good enough for Azir. A double kill, and it's a re-engage. Just barely by the skin of their teeth. Evil Geniuses just turned the fight.
So close by Loud, and I actually love the look that Robo had there, knowing that Impact was on mid-wave and it would be at least a full channel of teleport before anyone could join. They get Inspired, they nearly get Impact, but then because they could not finish him off, the damage just doesn't stop. But yeah, they basically just fire at Jojo. Inspired then looks to kind of play a little bit of frontline, but gets hooked, can't ult early enough, and they burst him down. So from here, I also like how much time Croc buys, so he knows he has flash ult. There's an actual circle we can't see here. That's the end of the MOrdekaiser ulti. Stopwatch, again, he's only gonna get to do that once. Flashes out afterwards to stay alive, and now Impact is overextended, but now you can see how much that Demonic just keeps burning with the EQ landing from Impact. Jojo picks up the double.
Yeah.
Kaori cleans up the third.
They don't get him. I think that kill would have been huge. That would have been someone getting a shutdown. I mean, he was down to like 120 health, right? Like, Triumph just healed him for a third of his health bar. Very big deal on that one. So, stays alive, but that got close. He's got his own stopwatch now, realizing how dangerous that was going to be. Robo gets ulted under the tower. Jojopyun able to be okay on that one, ultimately. You can see, yeah, huge damage out of the mages on the EG side. Impact had all the gold, but honestly, Jojo was just able to free hit that fight.
Well, he could kill someone here if he wants.
Big stun, and you're just locked down. tinowns. Nice sniper shot. Doesn't get flashed. I think it would have been up at that point in time. It's up now, certainly. That's actually allowed Kaori to get in, land the shot, and get one. So now it looks like Baron is on the table.
It absolutely is, and they just need to find a way to see where Croc is beforehand to allow Impact to ult him. Make it so they can't steal the smite, and they'll have a 5v4. So EG will ideally peel for this fight beforehand, but they can also just take the Baron.
Yeah, Squire's Bloom reveals, but there's a blast plant. He can always ult in. Mordekaiser's nowhere near, so they really can't burn this one too much already. They've killed one, and looking for a little bit more now, pushing over the wall.
Croc can steal it.
Mortality is up, though, so they can get vision on him. Impact holds left-hand side.
They don't see him.
They still don't, indeed. 1600, he's got to see him. Block the ulti. And now Croc can't do anything. Of course, he's going to go back to full ult anyway. The rest of the fight is going to be a freebie. Impact knows he can shield in a second, and that ulti means nothing. You save the shield for a third. He gets the kill. Actually, a raw solo kill in the Death Realm. And this one is going to be Baron. tinowns respawns, it doesn't matter. And Baron will be claimed. Evil Geniuses scaling in the play-in group stage and nearly sealing the deal in the second seed.
Yeah, 11,000 gold lead now. Gonna want to rush out of the base to stop this Mountain Drake objective bounded to be sent over, but really just some desperation by Loud right here. And I mean, EG took a ton of damage from Baron, but with how far ahead they are, Impact is literally just waiting until he can see Viego, and since Viego doesn't want to be shown anyway, there's only 3 people on Loud that can fight. Look at Impact just walk through that Misfortune ultimate, by the way. Yeah, loses his shield. And from there, now there's only two people on Loud that can fight, Robo and Brance. So it's just pretty hopeless with them trying to buy time for a possible Baron steal. Well played by EG overall, not being impatient, not flipping the Baron, and slowly killing every member of Loud.
Yeah. What's funny is by happenstance, Croc could have ulted to immune Mord. You are unstoppable. I think Unstoppable should break Mordal, if I believe that correctly. I could be wrong, but that means he actually could have immuned it, just like ulted Baron for damage and been like, stab, stab, smite, and actually had a chance at getting it. If I recall my interactions correctly, could be wrong again, but I'm pretty sure. That would have, but like, and technically, it's half second cast time. That is theoretically playable, but how many games do you play against Mordekaiser? Not that many. And here we are in this situation with Baron on the Red Bull Baron power play. Probably we're getting those correctly. 1,500 gold, growing now, 2,300 gold to Evil Geniuses, pushing out front inhibitor.
Yeah, nice objective bounty.
Oh, that's an ult. That's Robo.
That's Robo.
He'll stun. He buys a lot of time with that one, but guess what? You see the little blips. Jojopyun is here. The burn might kill him. Indeed it does. Demonic Embrace makes Impact godlike 7-0 on the Mordekaiser. That means bot lane turret is down. That means the bot lane inhibitor is down.
Impact absolutely throwing EG on his back here. Solo kill in the previous game against DFM on Aatrox. Gets the counter pick MOrdekaiser, which has just been so flawlessly piloted this entire game. 23 minutes, and EG is knocking on the door of their second inhibitor.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
Mid-tier 2 drops. Here we are on to the third one. In this middle lane, Robo spawns in 1 second. No death from available, so free target access for Loud if they can get it. Wall comes up, maybe going for broke. Mord sequestered away. Ult comes in onto Inspired, puts his own pillar down, and it's gonna be a stun. Notice a slow, will there be a follow through? Yes, Inspire gets the kill. The shuffle on in, but the stun turns it around. Jojo couldn't stopwatch, but the health bars are high enough. A stun to Vulcan, he will survive the towers with 100 health left, but the re-engage might still be good. Robo wants the front line, Croc hitting for what he can, but Mord comes back in. Q flash gets a kill. He stopwatches. Shield is when? Shield is now, and he is not going to die. Thank you for the Triumph Belt. Thank you for a couple of
They're so low, though. Tinowns going to chase him down. He's got flash,
the
too.
base. But the minion's going to block a lot of this. Fling, it's going to hit. It's a stun. It's a great kill. Get a bit of gold back in. But it's a 13,000 gold deficit for Loud.
Yeah, overall, actually, defense accurate, though. Both Nexus turrets still alive. They're going to lose the 2 inhibitors anyway, so they live to defend another day. Still couldn't get that MOrdekaiser bounty. That's the closest thing if they want to have a hope. And now Impact also with Zhonya's, so burning that stopwatch doesn't matter. EG now just going to pop out of base, use those 2 super minis to create pressure, and try and get that 3rd inhibitor. Don't want to play with their food too much, even though they are in a absolutely massively powerful position.
Yeah, really nice. Cool to see Impact pull out his champion pool. I'm always really such a fan of players finding really good answers into such common meta picks. I mean, so much of the summer split was defined by a ton of Sejuani top. That was such a frequent blind pick. I think actually all year. I think it was big in spring as well. And then in summer became a flex for jungle. But there were so many games as champion, and I feel like we didn't see a lot of hard counters, but Impact has crushed it so far. Vulcan over-diving into actually 4 people.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Nope, loses a flash, but he stays alive.
It's okay, though, he says.
Yeah, they've got enough to work with, honestly. The flash was up. I mean, what use of spell if you don't burn it? If you never flash, do you even have flash? Yeah, is that how that works?
Yes, because the threat of flash is very powerful.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Well, Vulcan no longer has flash for the next 4.5 minutes.
True. May as well have taken Exhausting Night, Leona.
You never know. 0, 2, and 12 even has the Even Shroud to get the engage that much stronger on his way towards Zone Anathemas. It's going to be turret going down. It's now the 3rd inhibitor. Going to be cracked. It's going to be even stronger waves coming through. A minute and a half from the 2nd Mountain Drake, the 4th overall Drake of the game. It would be EG's 3rd. We get all the numbers in that one.
Yep.
And do they siege for more? Do they actually play it slowly? I feel like you just siege one, try to find it. Fling's not going to land.
It's a little tricky, and you need to wait so long for the double supers to actually arrive. The double supers haven't even spawned yet. That's what happens when you get all 3 inhibitors down, is instead of 1 super in each wave, you get 2. You can see them coming out of the base right now, but it's a long wait. They could stay and wait for it, though, if they don't get poked too hard.
Stopwatch on 2. The crucial solo laners of Evil Geniuses have a Zhonya's on the one side, a stopwatch on the other. Should be safe against most scary engages. As wave comes on in, a little bit of poke back and forth. Seismic Shove nearly lands on his fire, but not quite. Still staying alive. Croc on the side. They find that first stun. Jojo gets a stopwatch. Backline dive comes through, and it's going to kill off Brance. A stopwatch now burned as well to stay alive for longer. Croc back inside the fountain to flash in. Kaori gets another. A legendary streak now for the top laner. Impact level 16 on the MOrdekaiser, and Kaori just crushes down the minion wave. Robo will be pulled right back in. Runs to safety, but sniped down by the AD carry. Kaori, legendary himself, 10, 1, and 4. A scoop gives him a double kill. The turrets will fall. Everything will drop. EG put the 3rd L in the tag as the CV LOL will fall to the 3rd seed. Evil Geniuses take 2nd.
Impact, the man of the hour. 9, 0, and 10 on the MOrdekaiser. His opponent, Robo, 0, 8, and 4. Very important for EG. They will now play in 2 days against the winner of Mad Lions and the Saigon Buffalo, whereas DFM and Loud will be playing a best-of-5 tomorrow and then have to face RNG for their chance at the group stage. So EG, it's not the perfect result for them today. They were in a position where a group stage win against DFM could have given them a tiebreaker against Fnatic to possibly just get out of the group.
Yep.
But this is the next best thing. They get 2 tiebreaker games, they get more settled on stage, and they play 2 solid games against